Yo, what up YouTube? Welcome back to the video. Today's video is answering the Q&As with the number one Gibraltar. Now, I read through all y'all's questions and I'm trying to answer them as best possible, and as fast as possible, and hopefully some of these kind of help you guys. So starting off with the very first question, they pretty much are asking Gibraltar's on a strict weapon combo pretty much, and that's pretty much a assault rifle or an SMG with a shotty. Now this person right here, they feel like the SMG is not really in Gibraltar's thing since you need a far range weapon. That's not the case. Gibraltar, if you're bubble fighting, and as long as you're more likely your teammates are gonna have like a 301, Hemlock even, Wingman. That means you can run an R9 massive just fine. R9 can still hit from medium to long range. You can tap fire it or medium range. You can still hold it down, just try to control the recoil on it, stuff like that. But you don't need to have a strict weapon combo. You don't always need to use a shotgun. Right here, you say you like to use snipers, but you don't like the sniper shotgun combo. That's 100% understandable. When you're thinking about Gibraltar and fighting wise, your always go-to needs to be, what am I going to use when I throw the bubble down? Because that is Gibraltar's best ability, and that's probably one of the best abilities in the game is the bubble. And the thing you need to learn the most is how to fight in a bubble pretty much, and what weapons work best. Now, shotguns are by far going to be the best in the bubble. So by not using a shotgun, you're kind of at a disadvantage for people that are. But there's weapons that can still keep up with shotguns, and that's weapons like the R9, the car, the flatline, 301. They're still solid weapons. So as long as you have those weapons, you can still do really good. Now, my biggest thing I need to like share is whenever you're using those weapons, you have to melee a lot more so you can keep that separation. So if you melee somebody, they get knocked back a little bit. That gives you an opportunity to hurry peek out and just blast them away with your R9 or your car, or whatever it is. And that gets some solid shots in. Um, you still do the same thing, of course, with shotguns, but you want to do a lot more when you're running SMGs and assault rifles and stuff like that. Now, whenever you're using a sniper, you don't want to sit there and use something like a rampage with a sniper or a Devo with a sniper. It just doesn't work because neither of those are bubble weapons. You don't want a slow shooting weapon in the bubble. Same thing with Hemlock. Hemlock's really good, but you can't use it with a sniper because even though the Hemlock's still good in the bubble fights, it's just not a good combo to have. A big combo I like using is actually a Hemlock and an R9. It's not the traditional, of course, Gibby weapon combo of having a shotgun with it. Because normally you'd run a Hemlock with a Mastiff, but Hemlock R9 is still really solid. They're both good bubble fighting weapons. So you don't have to have the traditional shotgun in your lineup of weapons. As long as your teammates kind of have that covered, like if you're going with a pre-made squad and you want to run a Sentinel with a R9, run it. As long as one of your teammates have a shotgun, which someone on your team should have a shotgun, especially if you're running Gibby and you have that bubble, at least 1 to 2 people should have it, or if not that, at least bubble fighting weapons. So go into it thinking like that. If you want to run a Sentinel and R9, tell your teammate, yo, can you go ahead and pick up a shotgun, something like that. Because that's how you win those fights in the bubble. And that's what it comes down to when you're playing Gibby. If it's in ranked, a lot of those fights are going to be in the bubble too. So just think about what weapons work best in the bubble. And it doesn't have to be shotguns at all. It doesn't have to always be shotguns. So hopefully that answered that question. Just use weapons you like, play around it, and just try to practice it bubble fighting with it. Pretty much, just go no fill duos, go R9 301 or R9 Hemlock, and just try to go crazy in the bubble. See if you can kind of get the rhythm, melee people back, hit them with R9, get the rhythm with the Hemlock going back and forth, and it starts to work really well. All right, now this next question pretty much goes about decision making with teammates. Now I don't know if this is randoms, but whenever a team wants to push and you're just out of position, you can't really push, your best thing to do is try to help them as much as possible. Now, if it's a pre-made squad, you can kind of communicate with them more, be like, yo, I'm not going to be there, so they know that you're not going to be there to help them right away, but you're going to be there eventually. And that's what you need to do. As long as your teammates are getting people low, making call outs, and you get to the fight late, make sure in your bubble on top of your teammates and step in front of them. Now, if they're low, they need your help, they need your guidance, the bubble is going to be the best thing to do. Bubble, step in front of them, make sure you tell them to bat up and heal, and you're pretty much going to look like you have a cape on your back, pretty much. Just listen to their call outs, whoever they get low. Try to focus that person first because they already knocked somebody. You have a shotgun, whatever it is. hurry up and just try to focus at one person and then go to the next person. And by the time you're fighting and you're already like 5 seconds into the fight, your teammate already should have taken a bat and back in the fight with you. So no fight's pretty much dead just because your teammates want to overextend and push a dumb fight. And as long as you're a solid teammate, you go ahead and try to push with them, bubble forward, help them out as much as possible. Now, if both your teammates are already knocked, you're just getting there. There's no point in still going there unless all of them are one shot or two are knocked and you have a 1v1. If it's all three up or just two up with full health, there's no point trying to fight it. You can potentially just throw a bubble down, 1v2, solid. But if not, just go ahead and just run away. Just go ahead and rat it out. Wait to get banners, especially if it's ranked, because you care more about your KP. Just make sure you just wait it out, see if they run away. You get your teammates banners, reset. But if you can't reset them, just go ahead and try to mute them, especially if you're playing with randoms, because a lot of times they just don't care. So they'll say some ignorant stuff. Just always go ahead and mute it. Just don't even worry about it. Because more likely the next game, you're not going to be in the same game with them. So just go ahead and play to your KP if you feel like if it's necessary. But if you're juggling back and forth, you have to hurry up and make a decision. You have to make a decision of either going right to them or just going ahead and just trying to figure out where you're going to rat. But you have to make that decision like right away, or you're not going to be like, again, you're going to be juggling back and forth what you need to do. It's going to be too late and it's just not going to look good. So just go ahead and just commit to the fight immediately, bubble forward, help them out, or just go ahead and rat away and wait to get banners. All right, next question. Do you have any suggestions, tips, thoughts about using throwables in the bubble? Also downloaded Twitch to watch your streams. Yo, I appreciate it, by the way. I appreciate all the support on Twitch side, guys. I've been streaming a lot more on Twitch, of course, recently. It's the way I can get content. But a good suggestion and tips. I'm not a big person about having nades. I rather have a lot more ammo than nades just because that's how I play. But when it comes to bubble fighting, if I have a nice thermite grenade, I'm going to throw that at the very front of the bubble on the inside at least. So when I throw it on the inside, that way they can't really push the angle they want to. So you're pretty much cutting them off from pushing a certain angle. And if they push through it anyway, they're going to get burned for 25. And more than likely, you can punch them right back into it. They get burned for another 25, or you pretty much blast them right as they come in because they're really predictable because you can see exactly where they are. So thermites are pretty much to cut off certain pathways for people to come in the bubble. Grenades are so you throw it down and you pretty much back up out of the bubble and bait them to come in towards you, like coming inside the bubble, and they just get blasted. Same thing with outside. You kind of want to bait with the frag grenade, act like nothing's there, and act like you want waiting for them to push you, and they do, and they get blasted for it. Arc stars, kind of the same way, but arc stars more likely help your teammates out. When they're fighting inside, you throw arc star inside, arc star outside, whatever it is, and it helps out your teammates a lot because you cannot be in that bubble when the arc star goes off because it'll hurt you heavy. So I'm a big fan of having grenades in the bubble. You have to use them a little differently with each nade. All right, next, how do you know when to drop Gibby Bubble and not use it? Now, this comes with a lot of experience using the bubble. Now, bubbles can be used for a lot of different things. And my best tip to you, no fill duos. No fill solo duos. Just solo no fill, I should say. Better way to say it. Solo queue up. Make sure no fills on so you don't get a teammate. And constantly just bubble fight. You know when to bubble a lot more. You know your position in the bubble too. You know exactly where to throw it. You know what to throw it for. You know, you could just win a 1v2 or you could have just third party a team. You're looting up and you didn't need to throw a bubble at all and you get shot with one bullet. Let's just say one bullet with a wingman. You know a team's coming right away, so you can either throw it right on top of yourself so you can finish looting, then reposition fully and get away from the bubble, or you can throw a bubble in a spot where you know you can jump down right on top of the team pretty much and fight them in the bubble because you're ready for it. So there's a lot of different situations and scenarios that come with bubble fights when they use bubble. It's what you're feeling at the time pretty much. And all it comes down to is a lot of experience with it. So just start throwing your bubble down a lot and you'll start to learn, well, I could have actually saved it this time. And I'll know next time I won't need to use it in this particular situation. So that's what Apex is. It's BRs is very situational and not every game's the same. So you're not going to use bubbles the same way. But what bubbles come down to, it's a lot of experience using it. So again, solo no fill some duos, start playing ranked a little more. Just things like that. You start to learn exactly your bubble position and what to use your bubble for. Next. How do you deal with people who keep distance when you place a bubble? and you want to see my sensitivity mostly. Okay, I'll show my sensitivity in a second, but to start off with how to deal with people that want to keep distance. So people that keep distance from bubble, they're playing it really smart. This is what you want to do whenever you're fighting people that are using Gibby. We just did it mostly recently in a ranked game that I'll be showing you guys here soon. Not a ranked game, a tournament game where Gibby had bubble down. There's no reason to push it because we're going to sit there and wait for it to go away. And that's the smartest thing to do is wait for a bubble to go away and then fire at them. Now, there's multiple things you can do to kind of make them want to push you. You can either act like a bot lord. You can start shooting them through the bubble. You can start a, I think I said shark right there. You can start shooting them through the bubble. To kind of act like a bot, like you don't know how you play the game. You can just poke out and they can fry you for like, let's say 50 or 100 damage. You can pop back in the bubble, take a bat, and they're more likely going to push you. You're going to be at a disadvantage here, but you're going to force them to push you, so you can hurry up and like cancel the bat, pop out, hit them with a PK, let's say 100 or an 80 shot, and then you can, now you're at even playing field with heal wise. So there's different ways to get them to push you. It's just very hard sometimes. That's two of the ways. The first way, of course, act like a bot lord, so they think you're not that good at the game, so they want to push you. Get low health, so they just want to push you since you're low and they don't want you to heal. Third one is act like you're running away. Just hurry up and just pull 180, start darting it, 4 steps, immediately turn right back, slide into the bubble. More than likely, they're going to be running without their gun out because they're trying to hurry up and get to you, and you can just blast them as soon as they do that. So that's like 3 little ways you can try to get people to push your bubble if they're creating distance or keeping distance, I should say. Hopefully I answered that one how you asked it. All right, let me go ahead and show you guys my sensitivity. I recently changed my sensitivity since I switched to the Elite Series 2 controller. So the stick on this was actually crazy sensitive compared to my last controller. So I had to change my ADS sensitivity because it was all over the place. So I actually recently had to change it to a lower sensitivity. All right, so this is my yaw pitch speed. This is left to right, of course, and this is up and down. This is around, I want to say this is around like a 4. No, it's not a 4. I think it's like around like a 5, I think. It's like around like a 5 cents. There's like a 5, and this is now like a 3. My ADS sensitivity. So I run like a 5.3 technically now. With the numbers, I think that's what they're around about. But this is my sensitivity. I know a lot of people always ask for this, and I do run per optic. The 1 to 2, I don't want to be as fast, of course. These are a little faster, and I want these slow since you have no aim assist when you have 6 times and up. There's no aim assist at all, so you kind of want it a little slower. And then of course these, you have to aim in a lot more, so you want to move a little more, even though it's kind of contradicting these. But again, you want slower sensitivity for your bigger optics, but mid-range optics you want a little faster sense. So that is my sensitivity for that. Next question. What are your favorite drop spots and rotations on Kings Canyons, if any? All right, I already have the map pulled up, guys. Oh, I'm in the way of it. Can I move it? Can I make it bigger? I'm gonna make myself disappear. Disappear. Oh no, I'm bigger. Oh no. There we go. I'm a bot. All right. So I like to go normally market to salvage. This is an older map, of course. There's no more Mirage Voyage, but it's same concept. I like to go market to salvage a lot of the times. This is a nice rotation right here. Market the salvage and go up to bunker in this no name place. And a lot of times I like to land labs and rotate cage. It's either lab to cage or lab to capacitor, back through labs, take portal to cage. It's just those little rotations. Also, cache site going down to containment, or cache site to spot lakes to containment. So you kind of want to run those kind of rotations. They're not really nothing special. I like land market against salvage. It's really good loot. It's a lot of fighting. Same thing with labs. A lot of people there, and you go capacitor because there's a lot of people there as well. Crash sites is kind of heavy because it's a bigger area. It's still kind of new. And containment's always a hot drop. So those are like my kind of hot spots. Containment, market, and labs are the bigger hot spots of the game. Capacitor, crash site, and salvage are kind of like the next to big hot drops. So those are like kind of like my hot drops I like to land at, and Kings Canyon, and like what I like to rotate to. Go back up to my camera because I'm a bot. There we go. All right, when's the next viewer day? I don't know when the next viewer day is. I've been running a lot more tournaments recently. With my boy Tim. We've been running a lot more tournaments, so it's been eating up my YouTube video making time and my ranked grind session. So I've been behind on playing ranked, playing pubs, uploading on YouTube, during tournaments, stuff like that. So I don't know exactly when the next viewer day is, but I know it's going to be very soon because I absolutely enjoyed it. Key to a video when you throw alt. I never use it right. I do have an alt video. It's a little older, but it's still the same concept because they haven't changed the alt in 20 years. Imagine. But if you can go back and find my alt video, I highly recommend watching it. There's a lot of ways to use your alt, but I will make a new alt video throughout this season. I'll try to get the best clips possible. I'll try to remember, get some clips of my alt, me throwing it in the right spots, and explain those spots. So I will make a video on that here soon. Whenever you do bubble pushes, it never seems to work out. All right, so whenever you're bubble pushing buildings, again, it just depends on the building, the situation. A lot of the times when you're pushing into a building, you want some of the bubble to still be outside the building. That way you can always go right back outside and still be covered from third parties and stuff like that. But again, it's very situational. I'll try to make more videos on specific questions like this because it's a great question. And the only way for me to really answer that is to actually show you guys. So again, throughout this season and stuff, and even next season, I will get a lot of clips, and make a big video on a question just like this on how to bubble push inside buildings and stuff like that. It's a great question, and it's going to be a great video idea. But again, BRs are a lot of situations, so I'm gonna have to find those situations, clip it, and show you guys. Yes, yeah, this is yeah. Okay, so it's pretty much same question. But yeah, I pretty much already answered that. So yeah, I'll get a lot of clips ready to go for Kings Canyon because I'll be playing ranked here soon, a lot more, and I'll be showing you guys bubble pushes because sometimes you need to bubble push a lot of these buildings that are on Kings Canyon. What character package rotation do you think is best for the game? Um, if you're talking about weapon wise, because I can't really think of anything else rotational wise. If you're talking about weapon rotation wise, I think the G7 needs to be back on floor loot. That's just my greedy thing. It's just not really greedy. It's just not used at all. If I see G7, I don't want to pick it up because it's not worth me dropping one of my weapons. Even though it's probably the best, most used weapon before it got put in the care package because I use G7 Eva all the time. As soon as it goes back to floor loot, I'll just be using nothing but G7, G7 Mastiff probably the entire time. You'll probably not see any other clips of me using any weapon. But I feel like G7 should be floor loot. I feel like maybe the wingman. That might sound a little awkward. Maybe the wingman needs to go back in the care package. Put the bow check in the care package. Potentially put the Spitfire back in floor loot. Just nerf a little bit. Because I don't like the Spitfire really being in the care package. I feel like it's absolutely broken. I feel like when they put the Spitfire in the care package, they kind of just went ahead and just put pretty much the same LMG, but even better on floor, which is the Rampage whenever it's turboed up. So it's kind of defeats the purpose. So that way you kind of figure out if you want to use a Spitfire or a Rampage, and I feel like that would be a nice little conflict right there. Volt deserves to stay in the care package. I think it's nutty. But I think the bow check and the wingman should go in the care package and take out the Spitfire and the G7 personally. Also the Kraber Kent shouldn't headshot one shot headshot people with red armor. It just makes no sense. I feel like if you have purple armor, maybe, but you shouldn't get punished for having red armor. And plus it's not good in ranked. So okay, this is not really a question, but you says you know number one. A lot of people really don't know this. They go to leaderboards, they see Chet here, they see all these other people here. Um, and the reason why I call myself number one is because right here, my Xbox has 67,000 kills. And if I scroll down a little bit, my PC is 45,000. So that's 112k kills, which is more than anybody else on this leaderboard. I just combined my account since I switched to PC from like Xbox to PC season 4. So this is my season 4 stats pretty much from the game came out to season 4, I got 67k, and from season 4 to current season 12, I'm at 45k on PC because I don't kill grind anymore, but I do consider myself the number one Gibraltar still just for kills. Skill wise, technique wise, I try to do things a little different than most Gibraltars. I try to, you know, perfect my techniques and skills and stuff like that, and try to teach you guys as well. So a lot of people just call me number one for that anyways, just because I guess how good I am with bubble fighting and stuff like that. But in reality, just me calling myself number one just comes down to kill grinding and having the most kills. And I took number one kills on Xbox. I want to say March, so like a month into the game, I took number one, and then in May, I took number one overall from the PC, first on the PC. So I've been number one since May of 2019. So I've had number one for a while. That's why I consider myself number one. When that gets passed, of course, I'm just going to change my title to something else. I won't keep my title as number one. You know, I'll probably put Bubble King every single time. But for now, I'm just keeping number one Gibraltar. I've always have since I've streamed and stuff like that. So that's why I call myself number one. I know when people look at the leaderboards, they're like, "Oh, you're not number one." I'm like, "Yeah, I know, Chief, but if you understood." But that's a little story about behind number one, not be number one, blah blah blah. So yeah, great question. Do you do a firing range for, warm up? I do. Actually, I'll just show it really quick. There's no point in me like not showing it and explaining. I do have a firing range guide that I did, like pretty much how to warm up. But I can show you guys pretty much really quick how I warm up. But there is a whole guide to it. I had a whole guide, like a whole 10-minute pretty much process of how I warm up. So how everyone warms up, I normally just grab the weapon, try to have no attachments, and just shoot off the target. Beamed them. You just gotta get positive with it. You gotta just let those fail, and you just gotta go to the far ones. So on and so forth. Pick up whatever scope you like. You can pick up whatever light mag you want. Just don't pick up a stock or a barrel, because that's what, you know, this helps you aim a little bit when you get those. So to that, of course, you know, everyone's consistent wingman. I feel like it's nice to have using the wingman, just trying to get the headshots. And it's okay to take your time on the shots too. Make sure you create distance from the last one and just shoot that one as well. And this is more of a Gibraltar warm-up. So that's just like what I do immediately as soon as I get into the firing range. And I come over here to my shotguns. Let's say I go to a PK, I'll pick up a massive, I won't pick up a bolt, and then I will pick up a bolt. So I'll find these rocks over here. Because if you find these rock placements, you place it around these three, it kind of places the target a little different from inside the bubble, outside the bubble. And you just want to peek it, just kind of time it correctly. That's how you kind of warm up for bubble fights. That's how you also kind of familiarize the exact timing you need for your bubbles as well, or your timing for shots too. And it's like, again, it's really slow when you don't use a bolt, but you go from not using a bolt to using a bolt. Just keep practicing with it. Switch legends, switch back to Gibby, to make sure you get your bubble back right away, so you can keep doing this. Let's go back in and out, and then of course there's the inside of the bubble that you can also work with. We're throwing it over here. Now he's inside. And again, I like to crouch when I shoot inside, because if you go from out to in, it takes a little more time, but if you crouch, you get in a lot sooner because of how it's dome shaped. So that's why I like to crouch whenever I'm going inside. So just practice that around. That has to do it for the Q&A. Hope you guys enjoyed. I know it's a little long. My bad. Next video that's coming out will be our tournament gameplay. And I won't be Gibby in that. So hope you guys enjoyed that. Hopefully this Q&A kind of helps. And let me know if you guys want to keep doing these Q&As. Because I enjoy answering y'all's questions. And I try to help you guys as much as possible. And I have 2 video ideas from this Q&A. So that's really helpful as well for everybody. So appreciate all the support, all the love. And see you guys in the next video. Peace.